The year was 2040, and the world was in the midst of a seismic shift. Artificial intelligence had made incredible leaps forward, becoming an essential part of every industry. In some places, robots worked side by side with humans, while in others, entire sectors had been taken over by AI. What was once considered futuristic now seemed inevitable. And the question everyone was asking was simple: who would win the future of jobs, AI or traditional human work? One such industry was manufacturing, where AI had already proven its dominance. Machines powered by advanced AI could produce goods faster, more efficiently, and with fewer errors than any human worker. These AI-driven machines could work tirelessly around the clock, taking over tasks that were once seen as essential to the human workforce. The result was an economic transformation. Factories that were once bustling with people were now quiet, the hum of machinery replaced by the quiet buzz of robots working in perfect synchronization. John Carter, a veteran factory worker, had spent nearly his entire life at the same assembly line. His father had worked there before him, and so had his grandfather. For generations, the Carter family had been part of this industry. But in the last 5 years, everything had changed. The factory he once worked at had begun replacing its workers with robots. John watched as his colleagues were laid off one by one, replaced by machines that never needed a break or a paycheck. It was a bitter pill to swallow. John had seen the rise of AI from a distance, marveling at its capabilities, but never imagining it would take over his job. He had always believed that human ingenuity and dedication could not be replicated by machines. But the numbers didn't lie. The factory was more efficient than ever before, and the company had posted record profits. As the robots kept working, John found himself stuck in a world that no longer seemed to have a place for him. One day, John received a letter from the factory. It was a termination notice. His job was being eliminated. The company was moving forward with a full AI-driven production line, and his position was no longer necessary. The letter felt like a death sentence, not just for his career, but for his identity. He had spent so many years at the factory that it had become part of who he was. Now he had to face the harsh reality. The future had arrived, and there was no room for people like him in the new world. But John wasn't the only one facing this dilemma. Across the globe, people were struggling with the same issue. The rise of AI had rendered many traditional jobs obsolete. And while new industries were emerging, they required skills that most people didn't have. Workers were being left behind, and the gap between those who could adapt to the new world of AI and those who couldn't was growing wider by the day. John knew he had to act. He couldn't just sit idly by and watch the world change around him. He had to learn new skills, adapt, and find a way to survive in this new era of work. John stood at the edge of a new world, one he had never imagined he would find himself in. The factory floor he had known for decades had given way to automated systems that hummed with the efficiency of artificial intelligence. His termination had marked a turning point, not just in his career, but in his life. The future, it seemed, had already arrived, and it was powered by AI. However, instead of succumbing to the bitterness of being left behind, John decided to confront his fears. He couldn't allow himself to be swept away by the tides of progress. Despite his years of experience, his knowledge was suddenly obsolete, and his hands, once skilled at precision work, were now grasping for something unfamiliar: technology. But he refused to let this be the end of his story. It would be the beginning of something new. Determined to adapt, John enrolled in an AI training program offered by a local tech institute. The first few weeks were difficult. The classrooms were filled with younger students, some fresh out of high school, others in their early 20s. All of them far more comfortable with the technology than he was. They breezed through assignments he found baffling. John's head spun with unfamiliar terms like machine learning, neural networks, and deep learning algorithms. Still, he pressed on, his desire to keep his place in the world stronger than his discomfort. Night after night, he studied textbooks on coding, watched instructional videos on programming, and sat through virtual lessons. His hands shook as he typed in code for the first time, feeling clumsy as the keys clicked beneath his fingertips. But he had always been a hard worker, and this challenge was no different than the ones he had overcome in the past. As the weeks turned into months, John's skills slowly began to improve. At first, the code didn't make sense. It felt like learning a new language, intricate web of instructions and logic that seemed impenetrable. But with each passing lesson, John's confidence grew. He started to understand the patterns in the code, and slowly, the pieces started to fit together. His classmates, once far ahead, began to ask him questions. John had a new sense of pride. He had become the person who could help others, and in doing so, he helped himself. John's training focused on AI-powered systems used in healthcare and industry that was rapidly integrating robots and AI to improve diagnostics, surgeries, and patient care. It was a field where the demand for skilled professionals who could manage, operate, and maintain AI systems was rising. This, John realized, could be his chance at a new career. When the training program concluded, John felt ready. He had become proficient in managing AI systems, and his knowledge was no longer limited to the traditional skills he had learned as a factory worker. Now, he had a broader skill set, one that integrated human expertise with the power of AI. Soon after completing his training, John landed a job as a machine operator at a tech company that developed AI-driven healthcare technologies. It wasn't the exact job he had hoped for, but it was a step in the right direction. The company was focused on AI-powered medical robots that helped doctors perform surgeries with precision and efficiency. These robots could analyze a patient's condition, decide on the best treatment plan, even execute complex procedures, all with minimal human input. John's role was to oversee these systems, ensuring they ran smoothly and troubleshooting when things went wrong. The first time John walked into the sterile, white-walled lab where the robots operated, he couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. These machines were incredibly sleek, efficient, and capable of performing surgeries that humans couldn't even fathom. As he sat in front of the control panel, he felt a surge of pride. These machines were saving lives, and he was a part of that. But even as John marveled at the power of AI, he couldn't shake the nagging feeling that there was something missing. The robots could perform flawless surgeries, but they lacked something that humans had: intuition. Doctors could read a patient's face, sense their fear, or understand when something was wrong based on years of experience. The robots couldn't do that. They simply followed their programming. Despite this, John's role was fulfilling. He found himself interacting with doctors and technicians who were just as amazed by the robots as he was. John realized that AI wasn't replacing human jobs in healthcare, was enhancing them. Doctors could rely on AI to assist in diagnostics and surgery, allowing them to focus on the human aspects of care: empathy, communication, and emotional support. One day, John's supervisor called him into her office. "We've got a new case," she said. "A patient with a rare condition, something our AI system has never encountered. We need your expertise." John felt a lump form in his throat. He had seen cases before where the AI systems had been unable to cope with the unique nuances of a patient's condition. But this felt different. This was a test of his new skills, a test of his ability to work with the AI systems that were supposed to save lives. As he prepared for the case, John remembered something his mentor had told him during his training. AI is a tool, but human experience is irreplaceable. The AI could handle the data, but it couldn't deal with the uncertainty, the complexities, or the emotional aspects of healthcare. John was going to have to combine both: the precision of AI and the empathy of a human doctor. The case was challenging, but John and the team worked together to find a solution. They relied on AI for diagnostics, but when the machine couldn't make a decision, it was John's experience that guided the team. After hours of analysis and consultation, the patient was stabilized, and John felt a sense of accomplishment like never before. The success of the case wasn't just about the machine, it was about how humans and AI could collaborate to achieve something greater than either could do alone. The experience was a turning point for John. He realized that the future of jobs wasn't about AI replacing people, was about how people and machines could work together. AI could process vast amounts of data, make decisions, and execute tasks with incredible speed and accuracy. But humans brought something that machines could never replicate: creativity, intuition, and the ability to understand the complexities of human life. John's perspective on AI had shifted. What once seemed like a threat to his livelihood had become an opportunity to learn, grow, and make a meaningful impact in a new field. AI wasn't just taking jobs, it was opening up new possibilities, new industries, and new ways to make the world a better place. As John continued to work alongside AI systems, he saw how the two, human expertise and AI technology, could complement each other. The future of work wasn't about one side winning over the other. It was about collaboration, about humans and machines working together to solve problems and create a better world. The future of jobs, John realized, was brighter than he had ever imagined. AI wasn't here to replace him. It was here to help him. Together, humans and machines could build a future that was more efficient, more compassionate, and more innovative than ever before.